left, final tire.
The figures speak for themselves. Record-breaking numbers all the way. Complete domination on every front. The sum total of one man's extraordinary feats over the best part of a decade. All adding up to the simple fact, there's only one Sebastian Loeb. He is by some distance the most successful driver in the history of the World Rally Championship. This weekend, Sebastian Loeb bids farewell. And what a fitting venue, the Alsace region of France, Loeb's backyard, where it all began. Hello, I'm Kevin Piper. Welcome to Rally France. Won 6 times in its various guises by Sebastian Loeb. How he'd love to make it 7. In this, his final appearance in a sport he's dominated since 2004.
I'm here to do this last rally in France because it's a nice event and I want to do it well. For sure, if I'm able to fight for the victory, I will do it.
It's the end of one era, the beginning of the next. Sébastien Ogier poised to succeed his countryman as world champion. And victory over his big rival would make that title so much sweeter.
To be honest, I don't feel any pressure to prove anything this weekend, but I like to win, and of course I will try to beat him this weekend.
The two Sebastians are the headline act in their homeland for one final battle. It's all about pride as much as points. The master versus the apprentice. Call it what you will, this is one showdown we've been waiting for all season. Rally France is round 11 of the championship, the return to Europe after last month's eventful trip down under, where Thierry Neuville denied Ogier the title in the very last stage. Ogier posting his 6th victory of the season in Australia. He arrives in France needing just 1 point to clinch the championship. Neuville the only driver who can stop him. Realistically though, it would take a sporting miracle to deny Ogier. This being a tarmac event, there's no qualifying stage, so they'll start in championship order. Loeb back in 7th on what could become increasingly muddy roads. Volkswagen enjoying an excellent debut season in the Polo R, leading Citroën by 48 points in the Manufacturers' Championship. Loeb, for one, will be looking to keep that race alive this weekend. Well, there's a real sense of occasion here. The Strasbourg Zenit Arena forming the centrepiece of the service area. Loud and proud presence by the teams. They are out in force, so too the fans, flocking to Strasbourg to witness a slice of rally history in the making. And among the visitors, FIA President Jean Todt, a former World Rally co-driver himself. Plenty here to reflect the end of the golden Sebastian Loeb era, including a display of cars that powered the Frenchman to his 9 consecutive world titles. No surprise, many are here to pay tribute to the local hero.
Sébastien Loeb, c'est le meilleur. He's simply the best.
Sebastian Loeb is a hero and yes, a legend from Strasbourg.
For me, it's a hero. 9 times world champion. It's the best man for me.
Sebastian Loeb, class, good.
Yes, respect for Loeb, all-round Rally HQ. We are based on the outskirts of Strasbourg in the east of France. 20 tarmac stages stretching out to the north and south of the city, coming up over 4 days. But it's not just about Loeb and Ogier. Danny Sordo returns to action fresh from his maiden WRC victory in Germany. The Spaniard securing his first win at last after a thrilling fight with Thierry Neuville. The Belgian is another driver bang in form on the back of 4 successive second-place finishes, and he's certainly one to watch here. And so to the opening test, a power stage run through the streets of Strasbourg on Thursday evening. 4.5 kilometres, 3 laps around a tight technical circuit with a mix of straights, hairpins and chicanes. Bonus points on offer. And it was the Spaniard Sordo picking up where he left off in Germany, immediately showing his class on tarmac with the quickest time. And then all eyes on this man, Thierry Neuville, the only driver who could prolong Ogier's wait for the title. But to do so, he had to win this power stage. The Belgian pushed, but it wasn't to be. Neuville, second quickest behind Sordo. Cue the celebrations back at Volkswagen team headquarters. All that was left was for their newly crowned world champion to take on the man he just succeeded. Sebastian Loeb, possibly a touch rusty, this only the fourth rally of his farewell season, remember. And Ogier was quickest, beating Loeb by 2 seconds to take a bonus point on his way to the third quickest time through the power stage.
90
All of which meant it was time for Ogier and co-driver Julien Engracier to celebrate. Sebastian Loeb among the first to congratulate the new world champion. Confirmation then of the power stage result, Sordo crucially beating Neuville to the maximum 3 points and so handing the championship to Ogier.
So happy, a big relief month. Was not an easy stage to do actually. I've seen on the screen before the start that it was okay, and then that I really start to shake in the car. But yeah, like always, when I shift the first gear, I managed to do the job. The target I have now for years, and just to reach it, world champion is the best you can get in rally. So I'm so happy with that, and so proud of my team. Such a nice story.
So for the first time in almost a decade, the WRC salutes a new world champion. But that's only the start of the story here in France. You can bet Sebastian Loeb will be looking to respond over the next 3 days. The very best of the action from Alsace is coming up, along with some candid thoughts from the outgoing world champion.
I think what I will miss more is the feeling of the car. The sensation you can have in the forest at 180 km/h is something special.
Welcome back to the Rallye de France Alsace. The WRC has a new champion and we're about to see what he's made of as we prepare for the first full day of action. Here's what lies ahead. Strasbourg, the rally base in the far east of France, on the Rhine, the border with Germany. From here, the crews head southwest to tackle 6 stages, including the 34 kilometres of Pays d'Aumont. The stages mostly run through vineyards, all very tight and technical. And a reminder of the positions after the opening Strasbourg street stage. Danny Sordo, the early leader, closely followed by Thierry Neuville. The new world champion, Sebastian Ogier, is third. A busy schedule ahead then, 3 stages to come in the morning loop, repeated in the afternoon, a total of 58 kilometres against the clock as we join Paul King.
So to the start line of stage 2, Sebastian Ogier, the first man for a decade to take the title from Le Maître, Monsieur Loeb. So with the championship in the bag, Ogier and co-driver Julien Engracier can focus on defeating their compatriot Loeb on their home event. And incredibly quick immediately here. And hard on the brakes, the first of hundreds of junctions. Oh, really big kicker there. And that certainly caught Ogier by surprise. Bumpy ride inside the car and a wry glance in the rearview mirror. He wasn't expecting that. So the new champion on his way, and we switch our attention to the outgoing champion, Sebastian Loeb. And the Alsace native is rapidly putting that sluggish start in Strasbourg behind him. Ooh, and Loeb startling some local wildlife there. Both animal and driver getting a fright, and as the deer leaps off into the vines, Seb continues to leap ahead of the pack. Loeb is almost a second quicker than Sordo to take the stage win. Let's take another look at that close call with the local wildlife. Jari-Matti Latvala, meanwhile, is no slouch himself on tarmac these days. The Finn finished second here last year, his best ever results on asphalt. Corner cutting will be a big factor this weekend. You can see here from our high motion camera, Latvala with 2 wheels across the grass to get the fastest line. He's made a great start, Finn up to second place by the end of the morning loop. But from his performance on the German asphalt, we know too that this man, Thierry Neuville, will be one to watch in France. After a steady getaway in stage 2, the Belgian takes advantage of his soft tyre selection on an increasingly damp surface to charge back up the leaderboard. Mikko Hirvonen, though, is beginning to suffer. Tentative on the brakes there. Tarmac is not Mikko's favourite surface, but he is actually on a run of 6 podium finishes on asphalt. All but a spin here for the Citroën man. The top 3 positions are looking increasingly distant already. Early days, of course, but under the weather, Hirvonen not enjoying the early running in Alsace. Back with the new world champion, Ogier still seems to be struggling to find his rhythm.
Different tire choice. We are in hard, Thierry in soft. Overall, soft is better for this stage for sure. But anyway, we could go faster, but we don't have really the confidence at the moment, so I don't find. I don't want to push when I don't feel it.
Sensible stuff from Ogier then, so the duel of the Sebastians not quite sparking off yet. A fiercely partisan crowd would love to see the Alsace-born Loeb secure win number 79 on home soil. Despite not competing on a rally since the end of May and running on hard compound Michelins in the damp of stages 3 and 4, the Frenchman makes it 3 stage wins out of 3 to move past Sordo and into the lead by the end of the morning loop.
It was tricky already in the stage. After 30 kilometers, I knew, okay, I'm in a good rhythm. It's not the moment to make a mistake, but okay, the feeling is good and car is working well. Tire choice was okay. It was not so easy, but okay. So at the moment, it's going no problem.
Looking at the sweat coming off your face, you've been working well as well.
Yeah, and I'm old, you know, so I have to work hard.
He's still got it, you know. 3 straight quickest times, taking Loeb to 899 all-time career stage wins, 1 away from another major milestone. A familiar look to the leaderboard, topped yet again by the irrepressible Frenchman. Well, statistically at least, Sébastien Loeb goes down in history as the greatest rally driver of all time. 78 wins, more than twice as many as his nearest rival Marcus Gronholm. So many victories, so many highlights. The best memory of all, well, that came right here, fittingly. Title number 7 in his hometown, Haguenau.
My best memory, I would say, is 2010. I won the rally, both titles, everything here in my hometown, so it was a great pleasure to win in front of all my supporters, my friends and my family, so it was an incredible moment.
If 2010 was his favourite victory, 2006 was surely the most unusual. Loeb, missing the end of the season with a collarbone injury, was forced to watch as Marcus Gronholm threatened to snatch the championship, only to fall short by a point. Loeb retained his title while he was fast asleep on the other side of the world.
To win a championship without doing the 4 last rallies and to win it at home in the bed finally, because it was Australia, so I was sleeping when I'm being champion. So it was also, I think, a special feeling that not a lot of rally drivers had in their career.
So what is Sébastien Loeb's secret? 9 back-to-back world titles. What made him so good?
I think it's a package that you need to get together. For first the feeling and the talent, then you have also to think a little bit, to prepare quite well your rallies, to have a good note system that you can trust, and that's it. Nothing really special.
Sébastien Loeb for me is a perfect driver, because when he starts for the fight, for the win. It's possible to win. He push, and put the pressure of the other driver. But if he's not on a good day and it's impossible to fight, he take a reason and look for the championship. If you look, he win a lot of championship with just 1 point, because one time he preferred to break and to go slower, but to take a point at the end.
After so many years side by side, sharing the highs and 1 or 2 lows, the admiration, not surprisingly, is mutual.
For me, it was nice to work with him because we have had a very good relationship. We are friends. He is a cool guy. He's not stressed. Even when it was going wrong, we were still in a good mood. So we achieved a lot of things together, and now I think we have a lot of memories together, that even some things that we know only us, and that's nice to share something like this with a friend.
So come Sunday evening and the end of Rally France, it'll be the end of an era. Sébastien Loeb will be gone, but certainly not forgotten, as he turns his attentions to circuit racing. Rallying will miss him, but he'll also miss rallying.
The feeling that you can have in a stage when you are flat out on gravel, or even doesn't matter of the condition, but driving in rally is very different from racing, and the sensation you can have in the forest at 180 km/h is something special. So no, I think what I will miss more is the feeling of the car.
And that feeling evidently still very much there in this, the Frenchman's farewell event, the Rally de France Alsace. Sébastien Loeb in his customary position out in front as we now move to the afternoon, starting with our stage of the day. It's the second pass through Cleverat. Loeb quickest through this 10-kilometre junction-filled blast through the vineyards this morning, now highlighting an 800-metre section with the front runners under close scrutiny as we rejoin Paul.
And Kevin, it's been a strangely underwhelming start to his home event for new champion Sébastien Ogier, as he gets pedal to the metal, heading towards our isolated split section. The clock starts at the hay bale up ahead. Here we go. We were expecting a battle royale between the outgoing and incoming world champions, but it hasn't materialised yet. That tight junction is followed by a breathtaking flat-out section. Ogier using a mixture of soft and hard compound tyres, maybe not the best choice in these bone-dry conditions. As mentioned, a really tricky layout to the route here, long straights and heavy braking into the junctions. Ogier pushing hard. All the fight back start now. Our split time ends at the banner on the right of your screen there. Benchmark time of 32.1 seconds from the world champion. It's not been the clean, controlled display we're used to seeing from Ogier so far. Looking at this tight corner from our high motion camera, you can see what I mean. Ogier drifting really wide in the exit here. Clock's ticking, with Neuville's weather crew advising the rain will stay away. He's opted for all hard compound Michelins, and that seems to have been the correct option for now.
Sur 120 mètres. Pour Gauchy sur 120 mètres, sur ma gauche 40 moins corde de gravier. Sur ma gauche 40 moins corde de gravier. Et Gauchy en droite.
Oh, this is a really aggressive run from Thierry. Ogier's effort of 32.1 looks beatable here.
Et Gauchy 350.
Wow, 2 seconds quicker in just 800 metres. The Belgian bullet is looking frighteningly quick. From our high motion camera, you can really appreciate Neuville's precise cornering, tucking the nose into the apex and hard on the gas to power out of that tight left-hander. Former leader Danny Sordo, meanwhile, is still very much involved in the fight at the front. Past the hay bale, and he is away into our isolated split. Comes that tight left-hander. The Spaniard has started the afternoon loop in fourth, but remains only 6 seconds away from the rally leader. Sordo, like Ogier, on a mixture of tyre compounds. Let's see how the Spaniard compares to the man of the moment, Neuville, through our split. And he's slower too. So it looks like Neuville on those hard compound Michelins is the man to beat at the moment. Nine-time world champion Sébastien Loeb, meanwhile, has also opted to run with 2 soft tyres. Our split time clock is fired up, and this 800-metre section could give us an indication if that tyre selection could cost him in these dry conditions. Stunning livery on that Citroën, showing all of Loeb's records. And the Citroën team are usually faultless when it comes to weather forecasting. There may be rain to come, but for now, in our stage of the day, it is dry. Loeb's 3 fastest times in the morning saw him clear 899 stage wins, but his 900th may have to wait. Loeb with an identical time to Neuville through our isolated 800-metre section. Well, if the rain holds off, the rally leader could be in trouble out there this afternoon. The soft tyres will really be suffering on the dry tarmac. He may have set an identical time in our split, but by the end of this 10.5-kilometre stage, Loeb has surrendered 2.7 seconds to Neuville.
I was pushing very hard now, but with soft tire on the rear and hard on the front was not really easy to do better than that. So we will see in the next one. Hopefully it will be a bit more humid, because this one was really dry and we struggled a little bit with the tire shows.
So the former champion is still out in front for now, at least. His lead, though, trimmed to just 2 seconds ahead of Thierry Neuville. Latvala slipping to 4th behind Sordo. Auger remains 5th. Well, we said earlier, Thierry Neuville was one to watch, and while all the pre-rally talk centred on the 2 Sebastians, it is indeed the new kid on the block who's on a charge in the afternoon loop. The Belgian, on the back of 4 straight second places, is in cracking form, and along with his M Sport team, spot on with tyre choice today. Neuville opting for all hard compound tyres, the threatened rain holding off, playing perfectly into the young driver's hands. And the Belgian takes full advantage to win all 3 afternoon stages and storm into the rally lead. That wasn't in the script.
We took the good tire choice in the morning and in the afternoon, and we have done better than all the others, so I'm quite pleased with that. And then, of course, the driving was a big attack in the afternoon. I took it a bit more carefully in the morning, but at the same time I was on 2 spare wheels, so I lost a bit with this as well.
So it's all changed come the end of the day. Neuville is the new leader. Danny Sordo just under 10 seconds behind him in 2nd. Jari-Matti Latvala 3rd. Loeb slipping down to 4th ahead of Auger. It's been a fascinating opening first full day of action here in Alsace, and things are about to get a whole lot more interesting as some of the key players struggle to stay on the straight and narrow. Plenty more to come from France in just a moment. It's dull, wet and misty, but they love it all the same. WRC fans making their way stateside for day 3 of Rally de France. Many here to salute Sébastien Loeb on his World Rally farewell. He's currently lying 4th, but very much in contention as the crews face another 7 stages, 135 kilometres of competitive action south of Strasbourg, today featuring a remote midday service. It ends with a super special run through the streets in Mulhouse town centre. OK, to the start line now, where we join our overnight rally leader Thierry Neuville, the young Belgian looking for his first ever WRC win. The action watched by Paul King.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top.
Yes, Kevin, as you just mentioned, after 4 second-place finishes, could this be the moment Neuville finally achieves that first win? He'll be relieved he's built up that 10-second advantage with this damp, foggy start to stage 8. These roads are terrifying at the best of times, but in near zero visibility, they are incredibly difficult. The Belgians' focus and car control will be tested on this slick surface. For now, though, despite the conditions, Neuville is looking blisteringly quick. The most successful driver the WRC has ever seen may be about to hang up his driving gloves for good, but Sebastian Loeb isn't done just yet. Top speeds can nudge 200 kilometers an hour in these stages. Try and imagine tackling these wet tarmac roads in your road car at these speeds.
Gauchy et ciel tout droit, 100 mètres. Gauchy 140 plus sur droite à fond. Droite à fond 250 mètres, attention, gauche maintenant tarpac corde. Plus, il est bon.
Loeb calmly adjusting his pace notes at 200 kilometers an hour, but a setup error on these slippery roads has left the Citroën star with understeer here. And here is the man who's replaced Loeb as the new champion, Sébastien Ogier. Well, perhaps overawed by his emotional championship moments on Thursday evening, we saw a strangely subdued performance from the Volkswagen man yesterday. Starting today over 28 seconds behind the leader. The fight back needs to start now. And it is looking like a brave performance from the new champ. It's a terrific start to the day from Ogier. It's his first stage win of the rally so far. Moving on to stage 9 now, and with Loeb's setup adjusted to better suit the wet conditions, the 9-time world champion seems more settled.
Gauche à fond. Gauche à fond.
Oh, perhaps I spoke too soon. A schoolboy error here from Lemaitre. Something of a collector's item on Loeb's last ever rally. Keep an eye on that clock. Yeah, around 10 seconds dropped. And with the margin so tight at the top, that could be costly. Was a tricky downhill hairpin, and Loeb just slightly too heavy on the handbrake on this slippery surface. Ogier's teammate, Andreas Mikkelsen, meanwhile, has fought well on his first attempt at this tricky Alsace event in a World Rally Car, in a battle for 7th with Mikko Hirvonen at the moment.
And flat left, 100. 6 left, and cut 6 right, 30, open here.
Look at these conditions, incredibly slippery out there. Oh, and he's a bit late on the brakes here. Inches away from that sign. We saw a similar incident in Australia for the Norwegian and his stand-in co-driver Paul Nagel overshooting up the access road. He's got away with that, but the delay sees him slip behind his compatriot Mads Osberg. Sebastian Loeb's DS3 has been adorned with numbers for his last ever rally, numbers illustrating his bulging collection of records. The Citroën team may have to add a new sticker at the following service break, though. Loeb currently holds 899 stage wins in his glittering career, but a blistering display here in stage 10 is about to change all that. It's a 900th stage win for the former champion, and for good measure, he bites a 6.5-second chunk out of the rally leader Thierry Neuville's advantage as well.
Well, Loeb's latest landmark also sees him move back ahead of Ogier in the fight for 4th. Up front, Neuville's seen his lead trimmed to just over 13 seconds ahead of Jari-Matti Latvala. Danny Sordo just behind the Finn in 3rd. OK, time now to just ease off the pedal a bit. Today featured a long drive south from Strasbourg for the cruise, passing through many quintessential French villages en route. The colourful WRC cars contrasting with the picture postcard backdrops and offering the locals an opportunity to catch a glimpse of rallying's finest at a more sedentary speed as they pass through the streets. Wonderful pictures. OK, back now to Paul.
So on to the second loop, and mercifully the rain and fog from the morning has begun to clear. Our rally leader Thierry Neuville on the start line of the Hollandsberg stage. The Rally de France is back underway. Can the Belgian hold on to his hard-fought 13-second advantage?
Retour sec, 120 mètres, cuvette droite 174, ferme léger dès l'est, ouvre et ferme 140 plus tenir, ouvre et ferme 140 plus tenir.
Got to clip the left rear corner there. Bit of a reaction from Thierry, not a big impact. He's living on the edge here at times.
150 plus très long, ferme 140 plus. Gauche 150 plus très long, ferme 140 plus. Et droite 130.
Well, hopefully no damage done as our eye in the sky tracks the rally leader through the village of Votlenshofen.
Droite 140 plus. 120 mètres.
Look at that steam at the back of the car. There is something wrong here.
70 mètres, gauche 80 tourne. 70 mètres, gauche 80 tourne.
And now a spin as well. Yeah, maybe he hasn't got away with it after all. Something is affecting the handling of that Fiesta. And judging from that smoke, I'm guessing it's a puncture. Let's take another look at that spin. Yeah, the car suddenly pulling to the right. It's a left rear puncture for Neuville. And this is a disaster for the rally leader. The Belgian opted to limp on to the finish rather than stop to change the wheel. He's plummeted down the leaderboard by the end of the stage. More than a minute has been surrendered. Out to take a look. But the rally lead is a distant memory now.
Well, that's rotten luck on the young Belgian. It sees him fall from first to fifth, and with Dani Sordo passing Latvala, it's the Spaniard who now leads in France. Next on this busy Saturday schedule, the second pass through the stunning Vallée de Munster. Our stage of the day. This incredible stretch of road features the long climb up to the col of the Petit Ballon mountain. And it's Sordo making his way up now. Oh, but a close thing there for the Spaniard. 2 wheels off the road. But the rally leader survives. Sordo well on his way into this 16.7 kilometre stage. We're about to focus now on the final 1.3 kilometres. A breathtaking quick blast to the finish, punctuated by tight downhill hairpins. Big crowds are packed into the last few hundred metres, with the top 4 separated by just 5.2 seconds now after Neuville's nightmare.
So, what a fight we have on our hands for the lead now. 4 men still scrapping it out for the top spot, and they're currently led by this man, Dani Sordo, as he approaches this tricky chicane. And what a thrilling ride this is through the final kilometre of Vallée de Munster. A breathless downhill blast to the finish for Dani here. The rain might have stopped, but the surface is still slippery in places, so this is a brave drive from the Citroën man. Pace notes from Carlos Del Barrio here as the DS3 nudges 200 kilometres an hour. The stage was completed in just under 8.5 minutes in the wet first pass through this morning. Let's see what Sordo can manage here. Oh, he's actually slower than that first run. Really inconsistent grip. Sordo dicing with danger at times in there.
Dani, it sounds like you had a bit of a moment in there. What happened?
Why you tell me that?
We saw on television.
It's like in motocross, you know, you use the size of the corner. So it's a little bit dirty, and I went a little bit off, but it's nothing important.
Next to pass through this thrilling final kilometre is Jari-Matti Latvala, the Flying Finn, just under 3 seconds behind the leader coming into this stage. The leading Volkswagen driver really has shone in these damp, slippery conditions today. And again here in Vallée de Munster, it's been another aggressive drive from Latvala. Was a couple of seconds down on Sordo after the last split at 12.9 kilometres. So let's see if he's been able to recover the lost ground. Wow, he does indeed. That was quite some final sector from Jari-Matti. 3/10 quicker than the rally leader, and the Finn edges marginally closer to the top spot. So that's the top 2 through. Back in the stage, it's the turn of the great Sébastien Loeb to attack these flat-out roads one last time. It's a sign how high the standards have been on the French stages that even the man who's dominated tarmac events for a decade has not been able to break away from this group at the front. His rivals, it seems, are desperate to prove they can beat the great man before he leaves the sport for good.
Gauche à fond, 100 mètres, attention, gauche ferme 140, ciel étroit et frein.
Loeb and Daniel Elena screaming on towards the flying finish. Let's see how they compare to the rally leader. It's not looking good, he's going to be slower. Yeah, 3 seconds slower than Sordo in stage 12. Loeb will not be happy with that. Just can't seem to get the best out of that car in these changeable conditions. Oversteer this morning, and now he's got understeer. No such problems for our new world champion, Sébastien Ogier. The VW man has been in scintillating form today. We expected a battle between the two Frenchmen. It might be for third and not the lead at the moment, but a battle we do have. Ogier just 7/10 of a second behind his compatriot coming into this second pass through Vallée de Munster.
120 mètres 1, gauche en 40 bons minons, ferme léger de Nîmes. 120 mètres gauche en 40 minons, ferme léger de Nîmes. 120 mètres gauche 40.
It's the rally leaders benchmark we are comparing to, though. Ogier started this stage just 5.2 seconds off the top spot. Let's see what he can do here. Yeah, he's quicker. 7/10 up on Sordo's effort. It's another stage win for Ogier, and he jumps ahead of Loeb in the process.
Yes, confirmation. These great rivals have swapped places again. Ogier now up to third, 3 seconds ahead of Loeb. Sordo remains the leader. For now, the Lapala has cut the gap between them to just 2.6 seconds. Neville remains a distant fifth after his puncture. But there's yet one more twist in the battle at the front before the day is over. Jari-Matti Lapala now on the short 5-kilometre blast through the streets of Mulhouse. Lapala beating Sordo by a second, and the Finn jumps into the lead on the very last stage of the day. So Lapala becomes the fourth leader of Rally de France. Great stuff, but it's still anyone's for the taking. The top four separated by just 5 seconds, with 6 stages to come tomorrow. 5 seconds, 4 drivers, but there can only be one winner of Rally de France, and there's a whole lot more drama to come. One of the front runners is about to see his world turned upside down. We'll find out who in just a moment. Haguenau in the Alsace region, France, where 9-time World Rally champion Sébastien Loeb spent his childhood. And it's the setting for the finale to this, Loeb's final event. The last day of Rally de France features 6 stages, just 57 competitive kilometres, including 2 final runs through Haguenau, where thousands of Sébastien Loeb fans will be hoping to give their man a hero send-off. Before that, news of a change in the lead in the Sports Support Series, the WRC2. And another impressive outing from F1 star turned World Rally driver Robert Kubica. The pole winning 16 of the 20 stages here to regain the lead of the WRC2 Championship. Kubica, not surprisingly, very much at home on tarmac and winning the event by more than 4 minutes. No catching the pole, but Welshman Elvin Evans would have been closer but for a puncture on Friday and showed some good speed and consistency here. The M Sport protege, second fastest on every stage today to take a runner-up spot on the podium. Further back, high drama for Ukrainian Oleksiy Kikirescu. Too quick, too wide. And he's over and out. Kikirescu clipping the bank and flipping that Mini right over. He would go on to retire from the event. The championship standings, a maximum 25 points, sees Robert Kubica regain the WRC2 from the absent Qatari Abdul Aziz Al Khawari. If Kubica finishes in the top 2 next time out in Spain, he wins the title. All to play for then in the WRC2. Same story right here, right now on the final day of Rally de France. 4 drivers separated by just 5 seconds with 6 stages to run. Here we go then with Paul.
Thanks, Kevin. A new world champion, Sébastien Ogier here, starts the day just a second and a half off the lead. It's quite some effort considering the Volkswagen star was almost half a minute off the pace following an underwhelming performance on the opening day. And despite these horrendous conditions this morning, Ogier looking calm and controlled inside the car. Back at the start line is Sébastien Loeb. He's won his home event on 6 different occasions. He too will give everything this morning to claim one last victory on his final ever WRC event. Ogier ramping up the pressure. Loeb needs to push, but he's lost the rear of the car. Loeb has rolled out. The final morning of his final rally, but that dream of a 70-night victory is over now. Let's take another look. Just loses the back of the car, off into the ditch. And Loeb out of the rally. Well, the 9-time champion was stretching the limit of traction. And just look at the reaction of the team back at service. Loeb and Daniel Elena out of the car and out of the rally. Well, the French fans have been denied this final duel between Loeb and Ogier, and it's certainly looking like a good run for the Volkswagen man in stage 15. Sordo's lead is under threat here. Wow, almost 8.5 seconds quicker than the Spaniard in just 14.5 kilometers. Ogier takes the lead for the first time this weekend.
Like yesterday, I start flat out, and the condition was very, very difficult this morning. We managed to stay on the road, but I can tell you it's so tricky, a few moments. I can't imagine the second loop will be horrible, I think. Will be full of mud everywhere. That's gonna be hard. The day will be long.
Well, further back, Loeb's exit has, of course, severely dented Citroen's fading hopes of catching Volkswagen in the Manufacturers' Championship, particularly with this man, Mikko Hirvonen, well off the pace in 8th. Although he will gain a position following his teammate's dramatic exit, of course. Oh, but Mikko in trouble too. A quick excursion across the field. No serious damage done except to Hirvonen's timesheets. And the Finn slips behind Mads Osberg on the leaderboard. In a stage to forget for Citroen on their home event. Hirvonen calmly getting the car back on the stage there. Andreas Mikkelsen's had a lively weekend on his first WRC outing on the Alsace stages. He's currently just behind Hirvonen on the leaderboard.
50 down to maybe 5 left plus. And a flat right 50.
Whoa, and Mikkelsen off the road too. Taking evasive action to avoid the trees. A heart-stopping moment for the Norwegian. This is rapidly becoming a feisty finale.
Yes, there's slip sliding away on this opening stage, most notably Sebastian Loeb. A disappointing way for it all to end, but as one Sebastian rolls out, another takes over. The weekend just got even better for Sebastian Ogier. Back in service, that specially liveried Sebastian Loeb Citroen looked an absolute stunner at the start of proceedings. Let's now try and figure out what went wrong.
I lost the rear in a fast right corner, and then we had a spin and we finished in the ditch. So that's the race. I'm more sorry for the spectators, for the team, which were a lot of spectators are waiting for me in the stages, and I'm not going through. So yeah, for me personally, it's okay. I have some new plans for the future. For sure, I would prefer to be on the podium of this rally, but that's life.
So not the finale Sebastian Loeb would have wanted. Nonetheless, the Frenchman takes his place in the WRC Hall of Fame alongside some true legends. Among them, rally's most famous son, Colin McRae, champion in 1995. Germany's Walter Röhrl dominated in the early 80s, claiming 2 championships. Mickey Biasion, the first and only Italian to win the title in 80 and 89. Spain's Carlos Sainz also won 2 championships, both with Toyota. Another man with 2 titles to his name, the Finn Marcus Gronholm in 2000 and 2002. From one Finnish great to another, Juha Kankkunen, champion 4 times. As was Tommi Mäkinen, another Finn dominating in the late 90s. But head and shoulders above them all, Sebastian Loeb, the most successful World Rally driver of all time. Well, as Loeb bows out, we move on. It's now a 3-way fight for victory here at the Rallye de France.
And we still have 2 more stages to run in this morning's loop, Kevin. And the rain is showing no sign of stopping. And here is the man of the moment now, Loeb's compatriot, Sébastien Ogier. It's been a quite remarkable turnaround for the new world champion. The Frenchman was half a minute off the lead at the start of Saturday's action, but now leads the way after a stunning and brave burst of speed on these sodden stages. Another brace of fastest times see him pull away from Danny Sordo and Jari-Matti Latvala. Ogier with pedal to the metal over this crest. Flying through the air and flying into the lead. And just look at the amount of spray having to be dealt with here by this Polo R. Further back, Thierry Neuville can only watch on in frustration at the new leader's charge. 157 kilometres an hour there. The Belgian had his own designs on a first ever victory until a puncture midway through yesterday ended his run out front. Now in fourth following Loeb's exit, the M Sport man is showing what could have been some impressive speed on these wet roads. And fellow M Sport man Evgeny Novikov is now up into the top 5 positions and on course for his best finish since Argentina in May. Normally so spectacular to watch, the young Russian has been a shadow of his former self in recent rallies. This confident display in extremely difficult conditions will be just the boost the 23-year-old needed.
So a champion's charge sees Ogier almost 14 seconds ahead of Danny Sordo. Jari-Matti Latvala remains just 3.5 seconds behind the Spaniard in third. Further back, Mika Hirvonen just 5.5 seconds behind Osberg, the Finn needing every point he can get to keep Citroen's championship hopes alive.
Just 3 more stages to come then, only 28 kilometres between Sébastien Ogier and a second win on home soil. Mads Osberg currently lies in 6th place after a difficult weekend on the Alsace stages. He's only 5.5 seconds ahead of Mikko Hirvonen though, so can't relax yet. Whoa, and Mads, another to fall victim to these sudden slippery stages, and he's wedged fast at the side of the road. Up ahead though, it seems the man who started the day in the lead, Jari-Matti Latvala, has sensibly begun to ease off the pace. With Loeb crashing out this morning, a double podium finish would see Volkswagen make a big step towards adding the Manufacturers' Championship to Ogier's driver's title. So from 4 drivers fighting for the win at the start of the day, it looks as though we're down to 2. And despite losing ground to Ogier in the morning loop of stages, Danny Sordo doesn't look like he's given up on the win just yet. A brave charge through the spray in stage 18 sees the Spaniard close the gap to the man out front to just 10 seconds. But the new world champion hasn't come this far to relinquish his hold on a second home win. Sébastien Ogier's car control inside that Polo R has been remarkable on the wet, slippery asphalt today. The Frenchman promptly nips Sordo's surge in the bud by taking 2.2 seconds back from the man in second on the rally's penultimate stage.
So with just the final Haguenau street stage to come, Ogier's advantage at 12.2 seconds. Surely he will now hold on for his 7th win of a stunning first season with VW. Latvala fastest in stage 19, but he's more than 10 seconds behind Sordo. Well, it wasn't the finish he wanted, but there was no way this man was going to miss out on a return to his hometown.
Yeah, Sébastien Loeb and Daniel Elena making an emotional return to Haguenau to say farewell to their fans. Unfortunately, as passengers rather than fighting for the victory that they would have so loved to achieve on their last ever rally. So just the final 6-kilometre blast through Haguenau's streets remain. Running in reverse order, it is 3rd place Jari-Matti Latvala who will follow first through. Terrific weekend's work from the Finn and co-driver Mika Anttila. They were in contention for victory all the way to the final day and only then have backed off to secure a podium finish that will be a big step towards the manufacturer's title for Volkswagen. Latvala survives the slippery blast through the Haguenau streets. So down to the final 2. Sordo has given it a go on this final morning, but with a deficit of 12 seconds to make up, it would need a disaster to befall the rally leader on this final 6-kilometre stage for the Spaniard to win now. Another professional controlled display of speed from the Germany winner. It's a 21st second place finish for Sordo. And so, just the rally leader remains. Martin Prokop came unstuck in this tight technical street stage earlier, smashing his suspension on a roadside curb, so Ogier will need a bit of caution on the slippery asphalt. This, though, has been a quite remarkable display of skill and speed from the new world champion since that sluggish opening day. No mistakes through the streets of Sébastien Loeb's hometown. Delight for Volkswagen, and the Masters' former apprentice has certainly come of age in a week when Ogier and Julien Ingrassia have entered their names into the history books.
Your team, Volkswagen, we saw them on the service park, very, very happy, very proud of your performance. Are you proud of them?
Of course, so proud of them. It's just, I'm so happy from what we are doing together. Again, I said last year we started the story together from zero, and I have so strong connection with them, and I'm so happy to bring them this good result. And now I guess we get very close to the manufacturer title as well, and that's so important for them, and I'm so happy with that.
And so he should be. Ogier winning by just over 12 seconds ahead of Danny Sauter and Jari-Matti Latvala. Thierry Neuville settles for fourth after looking a real threat until midway through the rally. Mika Hirvonen a frustrated sixth, and a word too for Robert Kubica, who finished an impressive ninth. Back at the Volkswagen service area, it has been a weekend to savour for Ogier and the entire team. One world title in the bag, with another almost certain to follow. Sébastien Ogier, the 2013 WRC champion. Thierry Neuville will be looking over his shoulder now. Jari-Matti Latvala closing up slightly in that fight for the runner-up spot. It's been a great weekend too for VW in the Manufacturers' Championship. The German team now require just 6 points to make it a double title success in 2013. So another champagne moment for Ogier and co-driver Julien Ingrassia. It's the 14th win of their career and 7th of a remarkable championship winning season. So there was to be no fairy tale ending to Sébastien Loeb's stunning career, but as one era ends, so another has begun. We will leave you by paying tribute to Sébastien Ogier, WRC champion 2013.